Hey guys, I just watched Mulan and it was pretty good. I It wasn't the best. It wasn't as fun as the animated version. They definitely took it in a more serious direction, but I thought the action scenes were good. It's definitely a movie made more for kids. There are some parts that were a little bit cringy. It wasn't that funny, but I think that the dramaticness of it was mostly effective. I really liked the casting. You have Donnie Yen as a captain. You have Jason Scott Lee as the bad guy. You have Gong Li as the bad guy. Jet Li as the emperor. I mean, it's just really cool seeing them in these types of roles. This is such a big production. It's a really big deal for Asians and Asian Americans to see so many Asians on screen. And for the most part, it does what it needs to do. The costume design is also really good. The main actress who plays Mulan, I thought she was pretty good. I liked her. I When I first saw the trailer, she looked very pretty and soft, but seeing her in action, she definitely has the physicality to play this role fairly believably. I definitely judge people and actors and actresses on their physical capabilities by watching how they run, and I feel like she ran as if she runs a lot. It's not about running like a guy or a dude, but it's just like, do you know how to run? Do you look like you can get some speed? And Tom Cruise is really good at that. He's great at looking good at running. And she looked good running. The story overall follows the animated story fairly closely, but there's the additions of a couple of new characters like the witch and not having the captain be one character, but kind of splitting him into one dude that is kind of a semi love interest, but it's a foot soldier on the same level of Mulan. And then there's also the captain played by Donnie Yen. I thought that worked okay. My biggest criticism of this movie, it's not really a criticism, but it's not as fun. It's definitely more serious, and I think because they're trying to balance catering to kids but also making it more serious, you definitely lose some of the magic of the old Mulan. But like I said before, the dramatic elements are done pretty well. There's a very clear message or story, and it's kind of hammered in early on. Just Mulan wants to bring honor to her family, and her whole life she's just brought embarrassment and shame. So we know exactly what she needs to overcome. That's the one really good thing about Disney movies. Generally, there's a lot of clarity in what the film's about, what the theme is about, and time again, she has to prove herself, not just as a soldier, but as a daughter, as a capable person. The message, it was a little heavy-handed, but I didn't mind that. It was just clear to me. It didn't bother me that they spoke English. I really like the design of the armor and everything, how they look. I love watching Jason Scott Lee as the Genghis Khan type character riding horses. I thought he was just so badass, like a really intimidating energy, and just looked really cool. It's a little weird that they don't call them Mongolians, even though everything about them is based off of like caricatures of Mongolians or Genghis Khan's army at the time. There's a really cool horseback archery fighting scene. That's definitely my favorite scene. I don't know if that's exactly what they did in the movie. They do all these acrobatics to shoot behind them, but I'm pretty sure in reality they would just turn around instead of doing a flip to flip themselves around. But yeah, that was really cool. Jason Scott Lee, definitely my favorite character in this whole film. I did kind of miss Mushu. I feel like without a solid comedic relief, I know the soldiers try to do some of it, but yeah, that didn't really click with me that well. The soldiers had much clearer personalities in the animated Mulan, even though they have the equivalent versions here. Again, it's the tone issue of trying to balance it being lighthearted, but it's also like a serious war drama or a war epic, and there's some real stakes. People get hurt, people die. Yeah, I know it's kind of rambly, but that's as a movie, it's not bad. I was kind of cynical about it, And even when they're trying to hit me with emotional moments, I often resist because I don't feel like it's done that well, or it's done in a little bit of a very simplistic way. It's effective. I still felt things even when I didn't want to. You know, you can see things coming from a mile away if you, especially if you saw the old Mulan and if you know how stories work, you know this how this is gonna play out. But the actors are really good. All the story beats are there, and it hit me, and I think it will hit you. You can enjoy it on a lot of different levels. So overall, I would recommend it. I Disney does a great job of making movies. I think they're just good at it. It's doesn't break any barriers. It doesn't do anything incredibly amazing. It makes me miss the original even more. As a standalone story, if I didn't know about the original, it would probably be a lot better than I thought it was. But just because I know what the original was and it's so similar and just a little bit watered down and not as fun, and yeah, I would check it out. If you liked all the previous live action Disney remakes, I think you'll definitely find something to like in this. If you like old Mulan, you'll find something to like in this. Not the same thing. Try to put that out of your mind, but also kind of the same thing. That's it. As you can see, I've given up on keeping clean, and I'm sorry I haven't updated in a while. I've been working on a new channel where I talk about investing and making money, and I'll link that below. You should check it out. Hope everyone is well, and I'll see you next time.